Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. A very warm welcome to our new members and to our new subscribers and to all the ones that's been with us for the past year. Today we're going to make one of my favorite things, pizza. So when you're on the Dukan diet, you can definitely have pizza. Today I'm going to show you how to stay within your limits for your tolerated items. So we're going to make 2 small pizzas instead of 1 large one. And the 2 small pizzas are basically meant for 2 people. So I'm using double the amount of cheese and double the amount of bran that you can use. Everything you can just imagine, it's double because it's for 2 people. Now, depending on where you are in the Dukan diet, I will put on the screen for you the alternatives. If you're not on the cruise phase, if you're, for instance, having a celebration meal, I'll put some suggestions there, especially when it comes to the toppings. So for the regular base, I'm only using 2 tolerated items. I'm using some wheat bran, and let me show you here, some wheat bran. And I'm also using a little bit of cheese. So it needs to be within the fat content of the diet. So these 2 will help the base to bind. And the other thing is our cauliflower. This is the base. And it's really lovely. Even for those of you who don't really like cauliflower, I can promise you it doesn't taste like cauliflower in the pizza. Okay, so what do we need? First of all, this is like a small to medium size cauliflower. We're going to use the entire cauliflower. Then we're going to use 10 grams of wheat bran. We're going to use 20 grams of cheese. This one is a mozzarella and it's 11%. Then 1 egg, medium to large egg. And then I've got a little bit of spices here, a bit of paprika, mixed herbs, a little bit of salt. And this is a bit of garlic powder. So you can decide what kind of spices you want to add to your base. If you don't want to add anything, maybe just a bit of salt, and that's it. So we're going to be doing that on a tray here. I've marked it out. So it's 2 side plate size pizzas. And for me, that's just enough, especially if you have a little side salad with it. So we'll start with the cauliflower. Basically what I'm going to do, you can either grate it with the coarse side of the grater, and so that it looks like crumbs. So you can either do that, or you can put it in something like a small chopper. So this is an electric chopper, food processor, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to do this process here. I'll film it, but we'll speed it up for you and play some music. After we've grated and chopped the cauliflower, we're going to cook it for 5 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, and then we're going to drain it and we're going to dry it off. So the whole trick about the cauliflower base is you really need to make sure it is as dry as possible before you start mixing it with your ingredients. So that is the key to a good base. So I'm going to get on with this, and you'll be listening to some nice music. And after that, we'll put the base together. I'll show you how to shape it. And after that, we're going to put a few toppings on it. So see you later. this is now the cauliflower. It's nice and fluffy, and you've seen the process now. It takes a bit of time. So if you want a really good base, spend the time to dry the stuff properly. So now to dry it even more, I'm adding the wheat bran. This is 3 tablespoons, so it is 1 tolerated item. But we're going to split this between 2 people, so it's just a half a tolerated item if you're on the cruise phase. Then I'm going to add a little bit. This is mixed herbs and spices. In the past, I've seen the base can be a bit plain, so I think it's quite nice to add a bit of spices. Paprika, and this is just a bit of garlic powder, which I quite like. And then we've got our 1 egg here, so I'm just going to whisk that up a bit. You just want to break up the yolk. Doesn't need to be fluffy or anything. There we go. So let me give this just a little mix with a fork. And I almost forgot, we've still got our 20 grams of cheese here. So again, it's split between 2 people, so it's a half a tolerated item. So far we've only got 1 tolerated. And I'm keeping the other tolerated for the toppings. So the cheese helps to bind it together. And the wheat bran dries out the cauliflower even more. And now the egg is going to bind it as well. So the egg goes in there. There we go. And then what you want is just get yourself a spoon. We're going to just mix that now by spoon, by hand. There we go. So you just want enough egg to dampen the mixture. You could even use an egg white. You don't need to use a whole egg. You can use an egg white. And you'll see now it's starting to come together. That's what you want. And at this stage, you can just switch over and use your hands. So I'm going to just press it together. And then what I'm going to do is divide it in 2. So just imagine somewhere in the middle somewhere. And I take the one. Now if you wanted, you could make a large one. Oopsie daisy. But I like making smaller ones. They're just easier to handle. And you can also, once you've part baked it, you can freeze it. And then you've got some pizza bases ready in the freezer that you can just put a topping on. So you just spread it with your hands. I made some circles here on the paper so you can kind of have a nice round shape. There we go. So you get the idea. It is about 1 centimeter thick at this point. And I've also preheated the oven. I've preheated the oven to 200, but we're going to just bake the bases at 190. So there we are. I'll do the other one for you and we'll get back to it. Okay, so that's the second one done as well now. Well, we're going to put them in the oven, and they're going to go in the oven for 10 minutes, and then we're going to turn them over. So let's put them in the top of the oven here, 190 degrees Celsius. Here we go. Okay, so it's been 10 minutes. Let's have a look here. We're going to take them out. So they've got slight color on them, but they're quite soft still. So they are very delicate at this point. So I've cut another piece of paper here that I'm going to put on top. And then I put another tray on because I'm trying to turn them over. This is the point of it. So we're going to turn them over this way. There we go. And this way we can now bake the other side of the bases to dry them out a bit. So you can quite easily now slide that piece of paper over onto your tray. Now I'm going to put them back for another 7 minutes, but you could even do 10 minutes if you like a drier base, a crispy base. So there we go, same temperature, another 7 minutes. I might actually check it after 7. Okay, that's the time up. Let's have a look. You can feel the bases now. They are feeling a bit drier. Okay. So now I'm going to turn the oven up to 200 while we do the toppings. And let's see if we can lift it. You can now very carefully handle it. Better to slide it. It's a bit of a delicate situation. This tray is now cool enough. And I've got my daughter here that's going to help me with the toppings. So let's have a look. You can say hi. Hi. Let's show them what kind of toppings we're going to have. Isla, do you want to tell them what toppings we've got? Yeah. Oh, you want Mummy to tell them? Okay, we've got some ham. We've got some cheese.
We got some tuna.
Tuna. Then we've got some pickled peppers and onions.
We got olives.
Olives.
And
tomatoes.
And capers.
Capers.
And
tomato puree for the base. And some sage. Okay. So let's get started. Okay, so what we're going to start with first is the tomato puree. So Mummy is going to help you a little bit. We're going to use about a teaspoon. You can spread that on a bit. Try and spread it on this side a bit. That's great. Okay, Mummy used Mummy's palette knife here as well. Yeah. And now you can start with your toppings. You can start with your toppings. So Isla going to use some ham.
And cheese.
And some
and
cheese.
Tomato.
Brilliant, brilliant. So the cheese I've got here is for the 2 pizzas, so it's 40 grams. So basically this will become then your second tolerated item. So if you're going to use half the amount of cheese, you can have a few olives. But what I'll do, I'll put on the screen a couple of alternatives for you. And if you're allowed 3 tolerated items that day, or if it's your celebration meal, you can have a lot more flexibility with your toppings. So we're just going to get on with this. You can have a bit of cheese. And Mummy is going to have a bit of cheese as well. And we like doing this on a Saturday night. Saturday night's pizza night. Here we go. And I'm going to put a bit of tuna on my one. There we go. Oh, that's going to be so yummy. Shall we put some herbs on?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's put a little bit of herbs on. There we go. Mummy put some herbs on. There we go. What about some olives? Tomatoes.
I'm gonna do some.
There we go. I'm going to put some peppers on my pizza.
I'm gonna put some olives.
There we go. Mummy have a couple of tomatoes as well. And some olives. Here we go. And a few capers. There we go.
I need some capers.
Would you like some capers as well? Okay. There we are. There's some capers for you. And finally, Mommy is going to put a little bit more cheese on here. And you can finish this cheese on your pizza. And then guys, we'll put these two pizzas in the oven for another 10 minutes. And then we will show you what they look like. Ready yet?
Yeah.
Yeah? So add this little bit of
I want
cheese.
some more on my pizza, some of that.
What? Some herbs?
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Some tomatoes?
No.
No? Is it enough now? Is that ready?
That's nice.
Is it nice now? Okay. Mommy going to put your pizza here on Mommy's tray. And we're going to put them both in the oven. You have to be quite careful because they are quite delicate at this point. So another 10 minutes in the oven, and that should be our pizzas done. Okay, so that's the timer gone off then. It's been 10 minutes. Let's have a look. Here we are. Aha, so there's our pizzas then. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to put them over here and we're going to have a little look at them. Okay, so you'll see with the base, I'm going to lift this up for you. The base is now a little bit more flexible, but it is not crispy and crunchy. So if you're looking for a really crispy, crunchy base, you'll need to make your base slightly thinner and pre-bake it slightly longer. But I kind of like the bases like this. I'm going to be serving them on small plates because then they were going to be looking bigger. So there we are. So if you want to do it like that, you can then just cut them, serve them, and they're ready to go. Or you can put a slightly larger plate and then you can put a little side salad with it. So I'm going to just do this one in 4 bits. And here we are. Some Dukan pizza. So this one is the other one. And you'll see here, you can actually lift it. It is stable enough for that. And I'll cut that one in a minute. So here we are. This is the end of the video. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed watching and I hope you're going to be making yourself some Dukan pizza. You don't have to be on the Dukan diet to make these. They are a healthy recipe. Anyone can have them. And you'll be glad to know that it's really low in calories, low in fat, and you know, they are just delicious. So I'm going to be having my little pizza now, and I'm going to have a little bit of wine as well because it's my celebration meal. So have a look in the description of the video to see what you can do to play with the toppings and still stay within your tolerated items. So you can't have wine and olives and cheese, for instance. So you'll need to make some little compromise somewhere if you want a little glass of wine. Anyway, cheers everyone. Please give us a like. Will you subscribe if you want to? And most of all, leave us a little comment and share with your friends. That would be really great. So until next time, cheers.